Today's brochure of the day is the wonderful Peugeot 309 GTI. Hello and welcome back to Courselight. So Courselight, we're a car brochure channel looking at car brochures like this which all bring back those memories. We did actually look at this Peugeot 309 GTI brochure a couple of years ago, but didn't get many views, and we have changed how we actually do car brochures now, so I thought it was about time to throw this on the board and have a look at it again. Okay, so here is today's brochure, the Peugeot 309 GTI. A little bit of a strange story about the 309 really. The 309 is, as you see, a small family car. It was manufactured between 85 and 94. This brochure is from 87. And it was manufactured in France, England and Spain by the Peugeot Citroën Group, PSA. And in fact, you'll see throughout this brochure, made in Britain. However, it was actually intended to be badged as a Talbot, and eventually to be called the Talbot Arizona for the replacement for the Talbot Horizon. However, in 1985, the PSA Group decided to discontinue the Talbot brand, and of course that's all history. It arrived as the Peugeot 309. This is the sporty one though, the 309 GTI. I always thought the 309 GTI was very much overshadowed by the 205 GTI, wasn't it? But I think actually this was a far better car overall. Loved the styling, very 80s. 80s, of course, very much a time of if you were building a sporty car, it had to look the part. And we've certainly seen that with Fords, and we can see here we've got red stripes in the bumper, similar to what Ford was actually doing with their sporty models. Love the alloy wheels, which actually look more like they're actually steel wheels, but I think they're a really lovely design. This little 15-inch, what it refers to as a competition style alloy wheel, and I believe these were first put on the 309. Of course, red is a great colour for these. Hot hatches were all the thing, but like I say, the 205 was the one everyone used to rave about, and the 309 was very much overshadowed. But I think, like I say, I think these were actually a better car than the 205 GTI. Let's turn the brochure, have a look inside, see if we can learn a bit more about this particular model. Turn the page, we've got a little bit of an introduction on this sort of flap, and then we turn the flap and we can see a full image of the car. So we'll start with the text here where it says "A dream come true." Let's see if we can learn a bit more about it and look at these lovely images. So it tells us the new Peugeot 309 GTI, the most recent addition to the Peugeot range, embodies the very latest in automobile engineering. The GTI designation announces a car for connoisseurs, a car with exceptional acceleration and superb handling, as well as maintaining Peugeot's comfort and safety standards. The 309 GTI is built to uphold all the traditional qualities of this famous marque, strong as epitomised by the Peugeot lion carried on the front grille, and rippling with power. Actually, before we move any further, we might as well have a look at this lovely image of the rear. Never particularly liked the rear end of the 309 actually, any of the range. I didn't really like this sort of like grille type idea that they put in between the rear lights. I believe when it was going to be badged as a Talbot, that's actually where the number plate was going to go, and I think actually it would have looked better if that is where the number plate actually went, but they tried to fit it in with the rest of the Peugeot range by putting this sort of grille type idea. Never a real fan, but we got typical sporty things like a rear spoiler. Peugeot 309 and GTI of course has to be in red, doesn't it? Anyway, moving on. With its crisp body styling and beautifully functional, this new three-door model has a personality all of its own. You will appreciate why the Peugeot GTI formula has already established a new standard for performance-orientated saloons. At Peugeot, we know how to take on the competition and win. Here is an ideal marriage of three elements: a drivetrain linking outright power and flexibility, a top speed in excess of 127 miles per hour were legally permitted, startling acceleration and thrilling response at any RPM, but smooth with it, perfect balance, total harmony of power and behaviour. Everything combining to exploit to the full the road-holding steering and braking power, large car comfort, space and style with quality materials and a classic standard of finish. A body both elegant and dynamic, good to look at, full of the promise of excitement. The new Peugeot 309 GTI, a dream come true. So just pulling the camera back again. So yeah, this flap actually opens up to make quite a lovely image, which really shows the Peugeot 309 off very well. Overall, I love the styling. Like I said, I love those wheels. Unfortunately, this one's in motion, so you can't see them too well, but a practical car. We've got these big rubbing strips going down the side, so you can still take it to your local supermarket without coming back with a ripples down your door. Like I said, I think the only thing I didn't particularly like was that rear end, but if I moved that number plate up there, I think it would have looked far nicer in my view. But like I said, they just wanted obviously to make it look like it was part of the Peugeot family, of course. Moving on further, I'm just going to very quickly pause for 1 second to tell you, if you're not done already, please do consider subscribing. It's all completely free. It'll never be charged for subscribing. Keeps you in touch with the channel, helps us grow the channel, and it's always very much appreciated. Anyway, let's get back to looking at that Peugeot 309. We do get a rather nice black example, which really does show off those red lines, sort of the go faster stripes on the bumpers and going down those rubbing strips. I just thought from this angle actually it was actually a really good looking car. Text wise it says dynamic visual appeal. Over here, built in Britain. This is of course a UK brochure, so putting built in Britain certainly would have attracted people, although I think everyone in Britain certainly thought this as a French car, of course. But anyway, let's have a look at the text. It tells us every inch of the 309 GTI hints at its nature and reveals the good taste behind the detailed design. 15-inch alloy wheels with ultra low profile tyres, a deep front air dam with 2 long range and 2 fog lamps built in, a rear mounted spoiler fitted to the curved rear hatch, deep body side mouldings with red inserts carried round in the front and rear bumpers. It goes on to tell us the real character of the car lurks beneath its flowing lines of the body when you build up the revs and drop the clutch. The sense of acceleration on demand gives the 309 GTI driver confidence for safe overtaking, as well as the sheer satisfaction of being in control of a superlative piece of engineering. So we turn the page, we get a nice image of the interior. I think we're going to read the text first, then we'll come and have a little bit of a discussion about the inside, where it gives the heading driver appeal. Sit at the controls of the 309 GTI. Take the wheel. Sports type. It carries the GTI insignia and is leather trimmed. It feels as good as it looks. Everything you need is right there to tell you precisely how the car is performing. Immediately ahead of you, there's a 6-dial instrument panel and no less than 13 vital functions monitored by an array of warning lights and indicators. At a glance, you can check the oil pressure and temperature. Modern precision electronics display engine RPM and the time. Every journey becomes what you make it according to the mood of the moment and conditions of the road. Rear screen wash wipe is standard. like the electronic free waveband radio with auto store and stereo, cassette player with auto reverse and 4 speakers, plus a twin tone compressed air horn. From the driver's seat of your 309 GTI you can adjust the main halogen headlamp beams and the electrically demisting door mirrors. Even the opening rear quarter windows are under your remote control. So I've just zoomed into that dashboard, and no doubt, yeah, there is a lot of sort of instrumentation. Of course, we've got a rev counter, it's a sporty car. Steering wheel does look sporty. I quite like the steering wheel actually with the red GTI. It does look good with the car. But when I start pulling the camera out, we do start getting the impression that the materials inside the cabin are quite low quality. Yeah, you often get that with French cars, but nevertheless, I think they could have done overall. I do apologise for all the reflections, it's just a very shiny page, this particular one. I do think they could have done a better job of the interior materials overall. I liked how they did the seats with the red striping, and they do look quite comfortable actually. And we mustn't forget, this is where you as the owner are going to be looking at most of the time, so I kind of think the interior is quite an important part of the car. Yes, I like the steering wheel, I like the seats, it does feel sporty in that regard, but I kind of think this sort of area does look very low quality. Does it matter? Well, maybe again, so much enjoyment for the car, maybe it actually doesn't, but I don't know, maybe they did this sort of low quality to kind of like keep the price down, of course, and make it competitive in what was a very competitive hot hatch market at the time, of course. But like I say, when I have a look at this sort of area, I always think it does let the car down a little bit. And then we turn the page, we get a proper look on the inside, as in the seats. And when you look at the seats themselves, you start thinking, well, maybe they weren't cutting corners, because actually the seats do look wonderful seats. It says comfort appeal. We'll read the text, we'll come back to this image. It tells the velour upholstery with striped inserts is absolutely right for GTI motoring. Easy on the eye and comfortable at typical GTI speeds. On the hip-hugging sports type front seats, both the rake and the fully upholstered head restraints are adjustable. The driver's seat also offers lumbar adjustment. There's space for 4 passengers, as generous as the styling is attractive. Thick floor carpet, lots of storage space front and rear, in addition to the centre console and parcel shelf. Extra wide doors provide easy access to the rear, and the front seats have a tilt slide mechanism. The split folding rear seat adds even more flexibility. Now you can fit in a second passenger, plus those awkward loads. Options at extra costs include a sliding glass sunroof, metallic or black paint, and electric front windows, combined with central door and tailgate locking. So yes, the front and rear seats do look actually a nice comfortable seat. Like the red piping, looks a bit sporty, breaks up that sea of grey that was very common at the time, of course. And so the red theme continues, of course, with that steering wheel GTI. But not only that, we also, on the gear lever themselves there, we got the numbers there in red. So we turn the page, we get this unusual angle actually for this black one. Quite an arty picture, I guess, but the problem with black, of course, on brochures is that you get so many reflections, it makes it hard actually to see the car itself. Let's move to the text now, where it tells us, turn it all on and let yourself go. Make the most of your 309 GTI. The power assisted steering is so direct, light and precise, it makes driving easy and pleasurable. The short gear lever slots from one ratio to the next with consummate ease. In this thoroughbred, you can choose your driving line with precision. Down the straight, round a sweeping curve, through S-bends or narrow hairpins, in the wet or when the going's rough. The 309 GTI takes it all in its stride, clinging to the surface with impeccable manners. Responding to your every command, the Peugeot 309 GTI carries forward the concept first established by its highly successful stablemate, the 205 GTI. It provides the same exciting driving opportunities with added refinements, and it's designed to provide the peak of performance for the delight of the discerning driver. Then we get this quite unusual page here, so a bit more of a mechanical page, I guess. So at this side, it gives us a look at sort of the suspension system and the engine, if the camera will, there we go, clear up a little bit. So this is particularly an unusual little image. Of course, on the older brochures, this would have been purely a drawing. So a nice little image. Then we've got little images at the bottom for the disc brakes and the electronics. At a time when, of course, all this technology was new in some certain regard, I guess. The next page actually is very unusual in that it's entitled Technology and is actually a very wordy page. So that's, to me, is very unusual to see in a brochure. We'll have a look through it. It is quite wordy though, so I will apologise for that. But I think we should look through it because it does tell us more about the engine. It tells us the World Championship wins achieved by Peugeot on the International Rally Circuit owe much to two factors. So I think very much like what Ford were doing, win the rallies, sell the cars. I think Peugeot was doing a similar sort of thing, very much there. First, the advanced design of the power unit installed in the breathtaking 205 Turbo 16. Secondly, progressive development under competitive conditions. This is a practical demonstration of Peugeot's commitment to the pursuit of excellence. The same expertise lies behind the success of the 205 GTI on the roads of Europe in the hands of everyday enthusiasts. Now, here is a medium-sized Peugeot equipped with the same kind of muscle. The 309 GTI with 130 bhp at 6,000 rpm. The 1905cc engine is a 4-cylinder inline unit with a bore of 83mm and stroke of 88mm, a 5-bearing crankshaft and compression ratio of 961. The cylinder head and block are light alloy, and the overhead camshaft is driven by toothed belt. Ignition is transitionized and breakerless with copper cord plugs for all-weather reliability and constant tune. The Bosch LE2 Jetronic fuel injection system contributes to the high efficiency of the engine, which has a very flat torque curve. Maximum torque is 121.5 pound-foot at 4,750 rpm, and 108.5 pound-foot torque or more is delivered between 2200 rpm and 6,000 rpm. In effect, 91% of maximum torque is available over 75% of the engine's rpm range. The consequence is supreme flexibility. No temperament, no fussiness, just instant smooth acceleration when you ask for it, and less frequent gear changing. This advanced system has fuel cutoff when accelerating from above 1600 rpm and an ignition cutout to prevent over revving when accelerating hard in the lowest gears. The 5-speed transmission has ratio tailor-made to exploit the torque characteristics for optimal performance, the quality most appealing to a typical GTI owner. The cooling system incorporates a copper matrix radiator and a thermostatic electric fan. The engine oil cooler is integrated into the cooling system of the car and can lower the oil temperature by as much as 25 degrees at maximum speed, ensuring that it provides efficient lubrication under the most arduous operating conditions. The suspension preserves all the traditional Peugeot standards of comfort but has been uprated to take care of the higher speeds and stresses attainable with this kind of power. Thus, although the front suspension is still of McPherson type, the lower arm is triangulated on this model, and the front anti-roll bar operates through ball jointed links to minimise friction. Coupled with trailing arms and transverse torsion bars at the rear, this suspension irons out surface irregularities while enabling the car to hold to the line chosen by the driver. Stopping power is matched to the speed potential. On the 309 GTI, all four wheels have disc brakes with automatic wear, adjustment and servo assistance through split hydraulic circuits. A load-sensitive pressure-limited valve operates on the rear wheels. Brake pad area are generous and the front discs are ventilated for rapid heat dispersion. The precision rack and pinion steering is power-assisted, coupled with maximum grip of the road from a transverse engine, front-wheel drive layout, alloy wheels for low unsprung weight and ultra-wide low-profile tyres. This gives excellent driver control. Active safety being built into the car's handling. Peugeot also wrap the occupants in passive safety. In contact with other vehicles at low speeds, the moulded bumpers offer substantial resistance even to superficial damage to the car itself. For heavier impacts, the front and rear zones of the 309 have been designed as shock-absorbing structures, progressively deforming in a controlled manner. They help to maintain the integrity of the passenger compartment as a safety cell. The safety pattern steering wheel is moulded on a collapsible column, while a laminated windscreen offers further protection. Careful interior styling has eliminated sharp edges from the moulded crushable fascia, and seat belts for all 5 occupants are standard. Because extensive body protection techniques are incorporated in our manufacturing process, we offer a 6-year supplementary warranty against perforation of the bodywork due to corrosion. With again a little bit of an image of the gear lever. And then moving down, so it continues by telling us from the inside of the box sections, which are not accessible from the exterior. Transferable on change of ownership, this warranty requires only 2 vehicle checks at the Peugeot Talbot dealership. At customer expense at the end of the 2nd and 4th years of service. Ask your local dealer for details. So yeah, quite an unusual wordy page, possibly only a GTI owner would really want to read all that in a brochure. But anyway, we turn the page and it gives you some of the key features of the 309 GTI, which we'll go through. Second page is the specifications. So right at the top here, it starts by giving us this, what it refers to as a comprehensive instruments and warning light display. Moving down, and we get a front end image showing the long range driving lamps and fog lamps, integral with deep front air dam. The ultra low profile 185 55 HR tyres on competition style 15-inch alloy wheels. We then get an image reminding us it's not just a sporty car and the advantages of a hatchback and why they became so popular in Europe. The split folding rear seat, obviously, for maximum space, flexibility, carpeted load floor and sides with loading sill protector, up to 21.7 cubic foot of load capacity to parcel shelf height. I'm just going to push the camera along actually, because we get 2 little images, and they're quite an unusual feature actually for the 309. Driver's remote control of opening rear quarter windows. So them little levers opening those rear quarter windows, which was a little bit unusual. We get these optional electric front windows combined with central door and tailgate locking. I'm just going to move the camera along again to number 7 and number 8. Number 7 is showing very wide doors for easy access to rear seats. Front seats have complementary tilt slide mechanism. Of course, always the issue in the UK with having a 3-door car and them longer front doors was actually getting out in the tight parking spots. And then the final one is showing twin remote control door mirrors with electric heating and demisting. So moving to the specification, I think we've probably touched on all these when going through the brochure actually, but it's a 1905cc engine, of course. Tells you about the maximum power, maximum torque, but I think we've probably gone through all that anyway. Moving down to the transmission, where it tells us it's a 5-speed close ratio gearbox, rack and pinion steering, turning circle between curbs, 10.4 meters or 34 feet. Power assisted steering is standard. Suspension front is independent using modified McPherson struts and anti-roll bar. Rear is fully independent using trailing arms with transverse torsion bars, anti-roll bar. Tells us we get disc brakes all round, fronts being ventilated, and they are servo assistance. Tells us the overall length, width, height, wheelbase. Moving down, it gives us the weights, fuel tank capacity, 55 litres. What have we got? Various different load capacities. Tyres, which we know are 185/55 HR15. Instruments, we get a speedometer with odometer, trip recorder, fuel gauge, water temperature gauge, rev counter, oil pressure gauge and oil temperature gauge. We get warning lights for handbrake, low brake fuel level, low oil pressure, low fuel level, battery charge, water temperature, low coolant level, brake down, stop, water oil brakes and brake pad wear. It gives us the performance figures, which are from Peugeot. Maximum speed 127.9 miles per hour, 0 to 62 in 8 seconds, which actually was quite reasonable for that time. Fuel consumption, constant driving at 56 miles per hour, we're doing 46.3 miles per gallon. Insurance group 6 in the UK. Incidentally, that number 6, that would have been out of a figure of 1 to 10. 1 being like a 2CV, and I think later on they actually changed it from a figure from 1 to 20. Specifications, so the things we get on this, we get 2 heated remote control door mirrors, deep front air dam, large rear spoiler, red bumper inserts, black painted centre pillar, engine compartment, undershield, we get alloy wheels, all as standard, push button tailgate opening, load adjustable halogen headlamps, 2 long range driving lamps, 2 front fog lamps, 2 rear fog lamps, 2 reversing lamps, tinted glass and laminated windscreen, 2-speed windscreen wiper, electric wash, intermittent windscreen wipe, heated rear window, tailgate wash wipe, sliding glass sunroof, central door and tailgate locking. There would have been options, of course, as the sliding glass sunroof as well was an option. Opening rear quarter windows, which were remote control. Electric front windows, which were optional. Interior fuel filler flap release. Deep protected body side mouldings with red insert. Body colour painted grille. 2-tone horn, which was compressed air. And then a couple more options there. We can have metallic or black paint, all extra costs, of course. On the interior, we get a dipping rear view mirror, sun visors with passenger vanity mirror, fully trimmed door with velour inserts, map reading lamp, panel light rheostat, rheostat heater blower, face level ventilation, side window demist, illuminated heater controls, 2 front door pockets, a cigar lighter, front and rear. Sorry, no, that's not right. Cigar lighter, and then it says armrest front and rear. I do apologise. 3 passenger grab handles, centre console, passenger glove box with lid, cubby box in upper fascia, driver's parcel shelf, storage bins in rear compartment, Glove box lamp, electric free waveband radio with auto store and stereo cassette player with auto reverse and 4 speakers. Moving down further, we can see we get a digital clock, additional interior courtesy lamp, interior bonnet release, soft rim sport steering wheel, reclined front seats with tilt for access to rear, front sport seats, driver seat lumbar adjustment, fully adjustable, fully upholstered adjustable front seat head restraints, inertia reel front and rear seat belts with centre rear lap belt, split fold down rear seat with squab, sports velour seat trim, interior floor carpet, deep pile, rear parcel shelf carpet, carpeted load area, floor covering and loading sill protector, carpet load area sides and a load area lamp. And that takes us to the back page, so we get the Peugeot lion and the Peugeot badge on the back. This little box though would really have been where your dealer would have stamped it if they had bothered stamping this one. Small writing down at the bottom there is all the usual. We can change things at any time, but main thing there we can see there, this is dated May 1987. So there we go, thank you so much for watching Course Light today and the wonderful Peugeot 309 GTI. Do you remember these? Did you own one? Always love to hear your stories, of course. But thank you so much for watching today. We're going to end as we usually do by saying thank you so much for watching. I'm going to add a couple more boxes there for other videos you may be interested in watching. And a reminder that if you do enjoy this sort of stuff, please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free and helps you find what you want to see, and very much appreciated. And you can become a member as well if you are interested in supporting the channel. But subscribing, always free. Member, a very small fee to support the channel. But overall, thank you so much for watching today. Please do come back again soon. All the best, take care, and goodbye.